this reading vlog. I'm Maisie, and this is Maisie with a Z. I'm currently on spring break, so it seemed like a nice time to do some book shopping, some book reading, or updating my reading journal. Lots of fun stuff. I actually started filming the content for this a couple days ago, where my local bookstore had a member sale on Saturday, so I went to that and bought a couple books, and then my mom and I went to New York on Monday, and we went to a bunch of bookstores, did some fun stuff. I'll go ahead and cut to those clips, and I'll get back to you afterwards to talk about what I bought. So first up, we have the couple of books I bought at my local bookstore. I guess the first of those is this copy of Anne of Green Gables. It's beautiful. If you don't know, I collect copies of Anne of Green Gables and Pride and Prejudice, so anytime I see a pretty copy, I buy it, and I've been eyeing this one for a while, so I decided to pick it up because the sale was going on. And it's just so pretty. Next up, we have the third volume of Witch Hound Atelier, which is a manga series I've been reading. It's absolutely beautiful art, and it's a really fun story and magic system, and I really enjoy it, so I'm glad I picked up the third volume. Then we've got Lore of the Wilds, which I've been seeing absolutely everywhere, and it looks so fun and cute. I'm excited for the romantasy, I'm excited for the fae, I'm excited for the enchanted library. It's going to be a good time, and also just like the cover is gorgeous. Look at that. And then last up from that store is The Scandalous Confessions of Lady Bennet Witch, where, if you couldn't tell from the fact I collect copies of Pride and Prejudice, I love Pride and Prejudice, so I'm super excited for this. I've been eyeing it for a long time and decided to finally pick it up. Love Jane Austen retellings. It's gonna be a good time. So the first bookstore we went to was McNally Jackson, and I bought 3 books there, where the first one is Your Absence is Darkness, and this is translated from Icelandic. The cover is gorgeous. Look at that. I hadn't heard much about it, but like it says, incandescent and elemental, hope-filled and humane, Your Absence is Darkness is a comedy about mortality, music, and the strange solve of time, and a spellbinding saga of death, desire, and the perfect agony of star-crossed love. It sounds extremely good. I'm super excited for it. And yeah, I'm also just excited because, like, it's not that often that I find a book that I haven't heard of. Like, most of the times I've at least heard of it, even if I hadn't, like, known much about it, just because I spend a lot of time on bookish social media. Yeah, I'm just super excited for this. And then next up is a book I have heard about, which is this. It is Empty Theater, or The Lives of King Ludwig II of Bavaria and Empress Sisi of Austria, Queen of Hungary, cousins in their pursuit of connection and beauty despite the expectations placed on them because of the exceptional good fortune of their status as beloved national figures, with speculation into the mysterious nature of their deaths. Very long title. It's such a fun cover. It's supposed to be dark comedy and witty, and it's a historical novel, and it just sounds so fun. I'm really trying to push myself to go outside of genres I usually read, so this is definitely outside my usual comfort zone, but sounds super interesting. And then we have this book. I assume the title's supposed to be Your Name, but if you don't know, Y/N is how you insert your name in self-insert fanfiction. So, like, I was engaging a lot with fan culture. Like, it follows this character who falls for a K-pop star at a concert and ends up writing Your Name fanfiction about her own parasocial relationship with that star. And it says, surreal, hilarious, and shrewdly poignant, Your Name is a provocative literary debut about the universal longing for transcendence and the tragic struggle to assert one's singular story amidst the amnesiac effects of globalization. Esther Yi's prose unsettles the boundary between high and mass art, exploding our expectations of a novel about identity and offering it in its place a sui generis picture of the loneliness that afflicts modern life. So it sounds super interesting, and it's not that long. It's only 200 pages. And the cover's beautiful. I don't know, I think it's at least going to be interesting. I'm hoping it's going to be really good. So that was my first time going to McNally Jackson, and I really liked it. I think I'll definitely go back there whenever I go back to New York. I go fairly often. And then the next place I went was The Strand. I bought a signed copy of The Getaway List by Emma Lord, where, if you've been around here, I read an arc of this, and it was absolute 5 stars. And Emma Lord's one of my favorite contemporary YA authors, and this is my favorite book of hers. So I was really excited to get a signed copy. Look at that. Eep. I know where the camera is. So yes, I was super excited to find this. There's a stamp signed copy of Lady Midnight I almost picked up, but because I really don't own that many like signed Cassandra Clare books, I ended up deciding that like for only being stamp signed, it wasn't really worth it to haul it around, especially since it's not one of my favorite Shadowhunters books, and it's in my least favorite Shadowhunter series. And there's another copy of Pride and Prejudice I almost picked up, but I didn't because all the copies that they had were like super dented on the spines. It's definitely a smaller strand haul than usual, but I'm really excited to have picked this up. And then we went to Kinokuniya, New York, and this is a chain, and it sells a lot of manga. It sells a lot of like Japanese books. Like, they sell stationery and like miscellaneous things on the bottom floor, and then the first floor is like a regular bookstore, and the second floor is manga and anime stuff. So we mostly went to get Spy Family things. First off, I got the 6th volume of the manga, where I haven't read this yet. I'm up past this in the anime, but I have not read this yet, so picked this up. Like, I'm kind of trying to pace myself with the manga, with not reading too far ahead. Like, I don't want to binge them because I want to savor them, but I'm past this point plot-wise in the anime. And then I got the light novel, which is like 5 prose short stories set in the world, so I'm excited for that. We love the Spy Family. And then I got, the most exciting is I got the animation art book. And it's in Japanese, but it shows a lot of images and art from the making of the anime, as I understand it. But, like, look how cute they are. I love Anya and Bond so much. And then I bought a couple of other books. I bought The Miracles of the Namiya General Store, which I've been meaning to pick up for a long time. Bella from Throne of Glass read this, I think at like the start of last year, and she really loved it, and since then it's been on my TBR, and so when I saw they had copies of it, I finally picked it up. And then I got the Kamagua Food Detectives, which I mainly bought because there's a cat on the cover, but it's so cute, look at that. And it's a novella about a restaurant where they're able to recreate dishes from people's memories, and it sounds super cute and heartwarming and exactly like my type of vibe. So I'm really excited for this. These are both translated from Japanese, I think. And then I also bought Welcome to the Hinandong Bookshop, which is translated from Korean. I don't actually know if I've read any Korean books before. I DNF'd I Want to Die But I Want to Eat Tteokbokki, and that I think was translated from Korean, but other than that I don't think I've read any Korean books before. This is about like community in a bookshop, and I don't know, it sounds super cute. I don't know that much about it, but that's really all I needed to be convinced to pick it up. And yeah, those are all the books I bought. We also went to, one more. I don't have it with me, but I also bought at, I'm blanking on the name of the store, but I'll put it on the screen up here. I bought this print from Holly Black's books, and I don't have it with me right now. I think it's still in our suitcase, which is in my mom's room right now. But it has characters from a bunch of her novels, including The Folk of the Air and Tithe and The Darkest Part of the Forest, I think. And there's a couple of characters I couldn't really identify. I assume they're from Tithe, but I'm not sure. I think they're all from her like fairy novels. And I picked it up because it was just so pretty, even though The Folk of the Air and the Stolen Air series are really the only ones of her books that I really enjoy, but it's just so pretty and I had to. And we also stopped in at I think 192 Books and a bookshop in Chelsea Market, and Printed Matter, which is a like art book and zine store. I'm not sure I got footage of those, but we did stop in there but didn't buy anything. Yeah, I mean, it was a super fun trip. Oh, and one more thing. We bought at Goods for the Study, which is a stationery shop run by the same people who run McNally Jackson. They had these beautiful notebooks that are made out of vintage books. So like they reuse the covers. And this one we bought, it's like this old novel. And it was just so pretty. Like, how could I not buy it? And like the dust jacket's a little worse for wear, so whenever I use it for something, I'll just take off the dust jacket and use it like that until I'm ready to put the dust jacket back on. But yeah, it's just so pretty. I had to buy it. That was at, I think, the Mulberry Street location of Goods for the Study. Then also my pre-order copy of the paperback of Chain of Gold came in. Look at Grace. We don't stan, but, you know, love the book. So this can finally get added to my Shadowhunters collection on my shelf. I don't think I actually own the paperback of Chain of Iron yet, so I probably need to get that at some point. And then we've got my copy of The Prisoner's Throne that came in, that just came out I think last week, and so that's so exciting. I can join my Krill Prince books. So this is the sequel to The Stolen Heir. It's the Barnes & Noble edition because I have all these books in the Barnes & Noble editions just because I like the black better than the white. So I'm super excited for this. So that's all the books I bought or have recently obtained. And then we can talk about my reading. On the train, I started reading A Treacherous Curse by Veronica Speedwell. Or The Treacherous Curse, which is the third book in the Veronica Speedwell series by Diana Rayborn. So I started reading that on the trip, and I also, on the train ride back, started The Long Game by Elena Armas, and I finished that this morning. It was 4 stars. It's following our main character, I don't remember what her name is. This is bad. It's very centered around the world of professional soccer. So her father owns the Miami Flames, which are the soccer team, and like she wants to take over the club at some point, but her ex-boyfriend is very favored by her father over her, and it's looking like he'll get the job. And then after this like social media controversy where this like really embarrassing video of her gets published, then she ends up basically getting banished to North Carolina to manage this girls soccer team that the Miami Flames sponsors for like it's like charity quota or something. So she's in this very rural town coaching this like soccer team of like under 10-year-old girls. There's also this famous soccer player who recently retired and then is there coaching the team, and no one there knows his identity, but she does. And I'm not explaining this very well, but like it's forced proximity, just like to lovers, grumpy. It's a good time. I enjoy the dynamic. I enjoy our main character's kind of character development. And yeah, it's a good time. Like, I really enjoyed The Spanish Love Deception. I know a lot of people didn't. And my issue with The Long Game is I really liked the characters, but the plot felt messy, and I felt like the writing was a little clumsy. Like, I liked our main pairing a lot. I liked their dynamic. The issue is the writing, like the plotting felt a little messy, especially the conclusion felt a little weirdly rushed. And there's also the issue where I think a lot of information was revealed too late in the book for when it would have been useful to know it. So many of the chapters would cut off, it felt like very abruptly, and then it would just jump to like the next day and the next chapter. And so like you'd be in the middle of a scene and then just like suddenly time skip, and it would feel very strange. So because of all that, I only give it 4 stars, even though I did really enjoy the ship dynamic and like I absolutely devoured this book. So yeah, other than that, I'm still currently reading a lot of books. I'm currently reading A Treacherous Curse, and I'm 3% of the way through that. I'm vibing. It's a good time. And I'm 23% through The Rose and the Dagger, which I was listening to on audiobook during finals week last week, and it's okay. If you've seen my reading 2010s YA for a week vlog, then you will know. I didn't enjoy the first book that much, but like, I still kind of wanted to see where it went. Yeah, it's kind of okay. I'm enjoying it more than the first book, but the issue is just I cannot get on board with the main pairing. It's just... I'm 4% of the way through The Lost Ticket by Freya Sampson. I just haven't actually gotten into this yet. Like, I've read a few pages, basically. A Marvelous Light, I'm still at the start of. I'm 20% of the way through that. And the first Crescent City book, I'm 12% of the way through. Overall, I need to start getting through some books this break. So I'll take you along with me when I'm doing that. And yeah, that should be about all the updates I have for this vlog so far. Because I was hanging out with one of my dogs, and there's pretty cherry blossoms in the background. But I want to talk about my reading updates. I finished Bride last night. It was a time. The world building was not present at all. Like, I enjoyed the romance. I thought it was cute, and I liked the side characters, and I thought it was a good time. And it was super fun. Like, it was a fun and enjoyable read, and I didn't want to put it down, and it was a good time, which I would expect nothing less from Allie Hazelwood. My only issue is, like, the world building just wasn't present. Like, nothing that happened made any sort of logical sense if you thought about it for more than 5 seconds. Where there was stuff like trying to explain the difference between the three main species in this world, which are weres, vampires, and humans, and explaining that by some genetic mutations, and that's what caused it. Like, it's just a random chance of evolution, I guess, which is very Allie Hazelwood. Like, she's known for putting the stem in romance, but the issue is her werewolves still transform into wolves. So there's gotta be some magic there. You can't explain it just by science. It doesn't make sense. And there's stuff like, our main character's name is Misery, our vampire main character, and that's a great name. But her twin brother is named Owen. Like, Misery and Owen. And everyone else in this world has normal names. It's just her with the cool one. It could maybe be explained by, like, her parents not wanting a daughter or something. But she was canonically established to have been named by a council of vampires, so that's clearly not it. So we've got Misery walking around, and she's the only one with the cool name. And it's a cool name, especially for a vampire, but it's just like, you know? Like, okay, it's a good time. It's basically set in this world where there's our three species, as I already said. So there's vampires, there's weres, which are werewolves, and humans. Weres and vampires have had completely unstable relations, like they've been at war and hated each other for centuries. And they both have kind of tenuous ties to humans. And our main character, Misery, there's some weird stuff that's going on. But she's the daughter of, like, the head vampire, but she was sent in a collateral exchange with the humans to maintain their treaty, where basically vampires and humans exchanged a child and each raised a child among them, so that then if one of their sides broke the treaty, then that child would be killed. So she was raised among humans, who all hate her because she's a vampire. And the vampires all hate her because she grew up around humans. So she has been living in disguise as a human, and then she ends up getting offered up by her father in a marriage to establish an alliance with the new alpha of the weres, which she agrees to for reasons we don't really get until like a third of the way through the book. Then it's like this like forced marriage, forced proximity romance. It's just like the plot twist is very obvious, or the multiple plot twists feel very obvious, and it feels very ripped off Twilight. And to some extent it feels like Twilight fanfiction where Bella ends up with Jacob. Like, that's what it feels like. But the werewolf-human-vampire dynamics feel very similar to Twilight, except for the fact that everyone knows that vampires and werewolves exist. But it feels like a cross between that and, like, Omegaverse fanfiction. Although that's really just, like, the mate thing, which is mostly the Twilight. It's just a very strange experience. And, like, the romance is cute, and the plot is fun, and it's a good time. It's just, the world makes no sense if you think about it for more than half a second, and it doesn't feel like a super original concept. But I did enjoy it. I always enjoy Allie Hazelwood's writing. It's just, you know? So yeah, that was Bride. And then it's currently the next day. I finished that last night. I stayed up to finish it. I was just knitting my mom's birthday present while I was watching some YouTube videos, catching up on Sunny Kim and Cups and Thoughts and Katie's Reading's most recent videos. And I didn't get any footage of that. But this afternoon, I think I'm gonna do some reading journal updating, and I might try and read The Prisoner's Throne later, I don't know. But yeah, I guess on to the reading journal updates.